Yeah, so I mentioned to people as well that we'll record this today, and that way it can be a reference guide. I also looked last night, the new, as you said, the new guide they have for the new rich content editor is really comprehensive. You know, it goes literally through every tool. As you did, I tried to find, I wanted just some screenshots of the old one. I couldn't find it. And in the old days, or before, I think it was on the 16th, they switched over, but you could still keep the old one, but now that's no longer an option. So, or as you said, it could be, but it's probably better if we just push it out and say, this is the new version, you know?
Right. This
Because
is what
before
we're
you know
supporting
it,
at this
the next
time.
one.
And I guess if we said, if you turn it off, you know, buyer beware, like, you know,
Yeah.
we just have to do, we also get to a point where, you know, we've got to kind of, you know, make the changes as Canvas makes these changes. And so,
Yeah.
you know, just because everyone felt comfortable, you know, with Windows, you know, DOS or something, you know, we didn't stay there. We had to, you know, you know,
VHS beta, you know.
or every people, those of us, I'm looking at Robin, who loved, you know, WordPerfect and something, we couldn't stay there. We had to move and change. And so,
yeah, I did love WordPerfect. That's
funny to remember that. A lot of us who use WordPerfect and
I remember
WordPerfect codes. You know, we were all over that software.
Will we be going through the new rich text today in this hour?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll just go over,
yeah.
Trev, I'll just mention, and then you might add to this, because I was trying to think of all the kind of new features. So Solange, indeed, we'll talk about the new rich content editor that looks like this. We could mention student view. It's just kind of a new way to access it. It's a little easier. The plagiarism checker, which is changing over. The immersive reader, I, for some reason, kind of missed this, but I tried it last night, and it's a text-to-speech, and I think the voice is pretty sharp and good, so we might mention that.
Yeah.
And then PlayPosit, we're doing workshops on it, but we'll just kind of announce it again that we're rolling that out. And then Q&A. Treva, did I leave any off besides those? Can you think of like features within the last 6 months that are new on Canvas?
Well, kind of with the new rich content, or also it has like an auto save. So if you all of a sudden, you know, jump off and you, it kind of has to happen when you do that. You know, if you jump off of the browser and then, or you shut it down and you come back, it'll have an auto save on that page. So up to a day.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So you can, and it'll give you a message that you know, it's auto saved, and then you can click, save that, or, you know, or cancel that you didn't want it. But,
cool.
What else? I was trying to think. Yeah. You did the
plagiarism.
There was another one about something with the enhanced, and I was looking at it, and I don't know if it's an option that would, like, you can turn on individually, but it had to do with like just how like assignments display to students, just with some more information about the due date, the points, kind of everything on a spot. But I can check that out again to make sure what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. So we can just make a note of that, so we remember. And Treva, do you want to take, and let me check the chat. I was gonna let you screen.
Yeah, if you can kind of, like, as I am also when I do present, like, just if you can kind of keep the chat.
And Mary just said, so she said, yes, it's helpful. I have lost work in the rich content editor. So it's helpful that they have
right. Yeah.
I'm so glad it has an autosave now.
Yes. Yes. So we're already, we're seeing the benefits. We're, you know, with the change, you know.
I stopped share, so Treva, if you want to control.
Okay.
What do they say in Star Trek? You're at the helm. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
I forget. You have the helm. I don't know. Any Trekkers out there? Trekkies? No. No one. Wow. Shot.
Okay. So basically what I'm going to share is I've tried to create some additional resources in a module in the LTCC users guide. So if you do not have access to the LTCC users, you know, group, and I think maybe I was just looking first was maybe Robin doesn't, just right off the top of my head. But if you don't have access to that, then I can add you to that, and then you'll get, you know, the invite. And this is just kind of a resource that I've used in the past for Canvas related, you know, tools and those types of things, a place to try to get people to kind of come to collaborate with things. It's not really used a lot for that. It's probably people use it more for just going and finding, quick link, groups, of information on the modules. And I do try to actually use it though to send out, like I've been using it to post some of those recent announcements about the rich content editor, because I know that forces, announcements to be sent out to people's email. And I also use this Canvas site so that I can quickly just use the inbox. To be quite honest, I know that Scott, we're always talking about, like, are these, are our Outlook distribution lists, up to date, or do they have everybody? And so anyway, it's just kind of a place that I try to manage some of the resources that I've created. So let me share this then. So you're seeing this. So we're seeing the rich content editor site. Is that correct, everybody? Anybody? Yeah, okay. All right, so this is the site. Like I said, even if the chat, if you don't have access to this, just maybe type that in the chat, I need access, and then I can get that to you just as we take a break, or that kind of thing. But I'll be showing it on the screen, so you'll be able to see. So again, I sent out a message just last week about the rich content editor, and then I was providing, I was in preparing for today, found some other content resources that are out there. And so those were the two newest announcements on the homepage. But in the on this page, like I said, this has a lot of like some discussion threads so that faculty can share ideas. But like I said, it's kind of gets hit and miss of usage. But here in the modules, there's the new, and again, I'm going to keep referring to it for a little bit as the new rich content editor because it is new, but Canvas is not calling it new. It's just saying, this is the rich content editor and this is what we've got. It's kind of like the same thing now with the grade book. For a certain while, a certain amount of time was called the new grade book when they went changed that over. So the new rich content editor, so there are some resources available in here. I'll actually be adding to this, and as we, as things come up that I can publish and that type of thing. So basically, the thing of it is this, I did get this kind of overview. This is a nice breakdown, and these come from, I reuse obviously the stuff that Canvas has produced. I think they, they're the, this is their product. They're, and then there's a nice consistency with some of the stuff that you're getting in regards to how things are presented. So the rich content editor, it's just basically how it's interfacing, how things are grouped. So everything is still there. It's just, again, some of it's been hidden what they call like trays or some drawers, like where you have to hit the little down arrow next to it. But if you look at this, then the nice thing that they have added, so here's our content, where you're going to be at. And this is, again, remember the rich content editor is available in, anywhere where you can edit information, pages, your syllabus, if you use the syllabus link, discussions, quizzes, any of those, any of those areas where you have the rich content editor. This is your content space. The thing now that it has added, which is more kind of like with, if you're used to, all of us are used to using, like word processing or those document producing softwares, that it has a menu now. So here, number 2 is the actual menu. So if you like drop down menus, that you can use this and get to a lot of good information. And then it has the buttons, what they're calling sorry, I just went blank. Oh, the toolbar, of course. So, and then the toolbar is, if you kind of want to think of it, this, like, the font sizes and the and creating your formatting for your content, when you're trying to create headers for accessibility, those used to be located on the far right of the rich content editor. So now they're right here on the left, so you can change your, the size of the font, the different style of that bold, italicize, underline, your shading, your font color. The T with the little 2 above it is the so you can clear formatting. So this is what I also like to use when I'm best practice, let me back up, is to create your content in pages in Canvas. Instead of, having a lot of links to external documents, if you do take the time, because those may be inaccessible to students with screen readers because you didn't, you're not using the right type of heading styles and different features. It seems like it takes work and, it's like, oh, it's daunting to have to do this. But what I do is I just simply copy the text from like a Word document. I paste it into the rich content editor. And normally what I do is I click the T2 button because it clears all my formatting. And then I use Canvas to actually, make sure that I'm using the correct heading levels, so that when a student's using a screen reader, I do know, I'm assured for myself and for the student that I've taken care of that. Does anyone have any questions about that?
I have a quick question, Treva. It looks like on that's for subscript, that maybe the clear formatting is over with the 3 dots on the right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And there's a T with an eraser.
Thank you, Amber. Okay, and here's my disclaimer. This is something that I've now have not been I've been using since the 16th of myself, trying to get used to it. So the trainer's getting trained. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's new for everybody. And so I just.
And superscript and subscript it allows us to do. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Ding dong. Okay. Yeah, it's the one with the T with the little, the line. I knew it was a T. That's
perfect.
Got
Thank
me.
you.
It didn't stand for Thomas. I don't, or Treva, but yeah, it's there. Okay.
Thank
then
you.
We're going to get into the inserting your links, images, and media is this number 4. And that's probably some of the biggest changes that, when Sarah sent me that text about, where's the, where I want to insert my document, or I wanted to insert an image. Where's my option to do that? Which again used to be on the right-hand side in the content sidebar, where you could just click on links and then you could, link to those items in your course, the modules, etc. You could link to new, place a file into your class. You could then also an image. So we're going to go over what this kind of looks like. But I will tell you, there's a couple new features with the with images that I think is exciting, is that you can drag and drop images into a page, but you can also drag the image around the page instead of just being able to use the, used to be able to select it and either say a left align, a right align. And it was really limited on where you could place your images, or I don't want to say limited, but it wasn't super user-friendly. And then there's also a way that you can crop images inside of Canvas now, so that you're not having to, go outside of that, and do that work. So they just tried to, like I said, streamline some of those. Then the other area that's probably going to be, like I said, a little bit different is this. You see number 5 here. This is what they're calling an external app. So it looks like something that plugs in. It's something that, it plugs into Canvas. It's from outside, but it'll feed into Canvas. And the external apps, that used to be where we would see the kind of little blue V that was on one of the buttons for inserting, like your Canvas Studio or your Vimeo or your YouTube. Well, we actually had a button that was also YouTube, but it was the same idea, that any of those things, even utilizing YouTube to place your information into your pages, that's coming again from that external space, that somewhere outside of your Canvas site to get it into your site. So if you can kind of think of it like that. Then number 6 is going to just be your formatting of your paragraphs, again, basic formatting. But there's some good things with the bullets now. There's some other options, just they're really kind of quick and easy to use. And then being able to move or indent content. So there's and then thank you. Here's Amber. The number 7 is the clear your formatting. That's that T. The tables, so you can also, using tables in your rich, whatever you're developing. Then we've got the if you're a person who's working with the math or science areas, there's a the equation editor here, and then there's also an easy way just to embed media into your pages. And so again, if you have that embed code, it just launches that. You paste the embed code, and then it's placed in there. Before you could go into using different media and go in and use the embed, or if you were a person that knew how to how to use HTML, then that could be something that was you felt comfortable with. The other things that have we used to have up here right above the old rich content editor, it would say HTML editing. I think it was called HTML editing. Look how quickly I'm forgetting. But when you want to, if you're a person that edits with HTML, that's this little symbol down there that has like the 2 carets with the slash in the middle. That's how you toggle to HTML editing. It also is nice now, the double blue arrow there on the corner right, is that you can do things in full screen now, so that especially if you're maybe on an iPad or something, a smaller screen, or even whatever your hardware is, that you can expand that. So this is just some of, like I said, I kind of want to just go an overview. Everything is still here. It's just kind of placed in a different drawer or accessed a little bit differently. But I think once you become a little working with it, it'll quickly become second nature to you, and especially those features that you use. You'll learn the ones that you really need to, as you're working with your developing your pages or whatever it is using the rich content editor. There is a short video that kind of just goes over the rich content editor from Canvas, and then some of the other things that, okay, so then this was nice. I found this from who was it that I borrowed this from? University of Wisconsin. So Scott said he said he was trying to find an image of the old rich content editor. I thought this was a good resource because they kind of gave you here's what the old one looks like, here's what your new one looks like. Or I'm sorry, this is the classic and this is the new. So we don't see this content sidebar anymore. This little the little man here, we call him the little man, but that's your accessibility checker. So again, that's moved to the bottom underneath your content area. The shortcut key to if you're a person that likes to use keyboard shortcuts, there's a way you can toggle that to if you like to use your shortcuts instead of using the buttons. If you're one of those folks, you can do that. So here's kind of that comparison. So again, I think is awesome is that we have this new menu, the menu bar feature, so I can just quickly know when I want to insert something or I'm trying to format something. I can go here and see my list if that's what I need. So it just gives different users different your interaction with this. It's what it helps you kind of gives you what you might prefer to do. Are you a buttons person and clicking your little down arrows, or are you a person that likes to access the menus? So
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So if the new content editor doesn't have that sidebar anymore, where you can link to assignments or quizzes or pages, how do you do that in the new one?
Okay, so that's where you're there's the link that shows there's the and I'll get to this, but see where you have your it has the little link here and there's a down arrow and it says there's a down arrow there and you click on it, which I'll demonstrate in a minute, that has it'll say external or external. So internal is going to take you to the stuff that you already have in your Canvas site, which one of those is going to be navigation. And you just like before, you'd click on navigation, then you'd say, I want it just to take the student to the modules. or I want them to take it to the discussions, or you can link them to a specific module, a specific item.
Okay,
Does
thank
that
you.
make sense? Okay, yeah. And I think this right here, just so visual, so you can kind of go back to it, I think was a good idea, was a good way that Wisconsin had presented this. So again, like I said, I'm not a person that reinvents the wheel if I don't have to. And so, so that's kind of here's some of that question that you just had, Mary, and that's okay. You're right on top of things. Is that here's how do you add your course links, files, and images? Because that's mostly what that's not mostly what we're doing, but a lot of us, that's our what we're doing quite often when we're using the rich content editor. And so this is going to kind of give you, if you want to use the if you like to use the menu, here's how you would go about it. If you like to use the toolbar icon, here's how you would do this. So you see how when you click on, links, you have to, if you do use the menu, it's links, course links. Here on the actual toolbar, you would, you see the little link chain. You click the down arrow, and then external or course links, and that's where you're going to get to it. Course files. So again, everything on the left is the menu, and on the right, if you're a button person, is how to access that via the button. So if it's going to be a document, anything like that, you can. So there's options. Remember when you used to, well, this is kind of used to always be housed in that content sidebar. You could go into your, if I needed to link to a document, I could click on files. I used to click on files, and then I would say, oh, either it was already in my files list, right? So if it was a class that I had brought in, or I'd already uploaded a whole bunch of stuff, then I could just choose from the list, right? Or I would sometimes have to upload new, and I would have to click on the upload. I would have to, go and find it. That's kind of the same idea is right here. Is you can upload a document. You can go to, if you already have something located in your course, it's going to be in your course documents. And then there's some individuals where you this is just how you prefer to do your file management. And it'd be interesting just to know, do most of you just kind of place files in the course files and just kind of utilize that area, or do others actually use in the in the left hand course navigation, there's the files link, which actually when you click on that, it opens up it's just a different way to kind of get to your files in your class.
I open up document and then I do the work inside Canvas.
Okay.
I use the files.
You go to files.
Yeah.
So it's more like
yeah.
On the left-hand side, kind of that files link, Mary?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, it's like I said, you're going to be able to get to everything. It's just going to be getting used to going, oh, okay. So course documents, user documents, it's just, like I said, a different way that we get to the same place ultimately. But so this is where you're going to go ahead and, the process of, getting files into so this is, and again, you can then upload any type of file. Then course images, again, they've kind of broken this out into, so that you can, if you quickly work with images a lot, you can upload so there's a kind of a separate button. You can also upload, it is broken up. I'm sorry. Images now, which it always is. Remember, there used to be links, images, or course files and images were those three tabs over on the right-hand side previously. Now we still have those. Like I said, now we've got just this button that has our images that we can upload. We can upload an image. We can do, again, are we looking for a course image that we already had? Is it a user image that I had connected to my user file, my user profile? Then the adding your media. So again, when we add media, we do have, which this button, this one does not, I apologize, I'll show you in a minute, but there is a button for just uploading studio videos now. There is, you don't have to go to the to our app, to the app button to insert one of your videos that you've created with Canvas Studio. I'll show you in just a minute when I show you the live editor, that there's an actual button that's the little, it's the icon for Canvas Studio. But let's say that you want to, you want to put your YouTube video in. This is, or you have a Vimeo, or you use SlideShare, or that type of a, kind of like I said, an external content that you want to bring in. That's when you're going to click on that little plugin symbol. It's going to bring a list of everything that we have, external apps that there are available, and then you just select that particular item and go from there. And then again, the accessibility checkers here. So here was, like I said, I just wanted to kind of point out to you that there's some information in the user site that you can use. I'll be, like I said, I'll be adding to this, even, like kind of a more of a document that kind of explains this. If you're more of a person that likes to read what, okay, what are the changes? What's this? What's the old one? What's the new one? Just kind of some of those changes that were made. If you're more, like I said, some of us like just to kind of read stuff to get it. Then more of the visual stuff was presented before. Okay, so now I wanted to then go ahead and give you just a quick demo of some of the, kind of this in action. So I'm going to go ahead to my training site. And so again, like I said, whenever, in announcements, in your discussions, assignments, your pages, that's where you're going to, wherever you interface with the rich content editor now is where you're going to see this. So I could simply go to then a page. Oops, I'm going to leave my student view. And that was the other thing, just in talking about student view quickly, is that that was another kind of release. They're constantly releasing things with Canvas about, once every 2 weeks, every month. That the student view now is available at the top right, where you see the little set of glasses. So you used to have to go back to the home page to be able to go and see. There was a link here that said student view was over here on the right, or you could go to settings and go find it there. There was several places to get to that, but which is nice now is that when you're creating a page and you want to view what that looks like, you can view it right from here. That a discussion, anything that we're creating, there's that student view that you can get straight to what the students are saying to make sure that what you've done looks like you hope it does, or it's functioning the way you hope it does. Okay, so here is the new, and I'm just going to say fun, not scary. The new, the new rich content editor, or the content editor for Canvas. And so again, it's a lot of it's gonna that we still have the these buttons here, notify the users if the content changes. That stays the same. So again, if you're a person that uses the menu, you're going to see, the view. This allows the full screen or the raw, but that's also just right here, full screen, raw HTML. Insert, here's again where do you want to insert an image, your media. So if you're bringing in, this is where you can upload or record. So if you're a person that just likes to quickly record, a little quick welcome for the week. Some faculty just do, they go ahead and create that right here. The only reason that, not that I don't, it matters what course you're teaching, but many times, especially if it's something you're recording, it's only something it's going to be one time, but think about that idea of the accessibility and its students who may need, who have maybe some type of, hearing deficiencies that, that if you're using the Canvas Studio, and we can talk about if there's more training needed for that. But, Canvas Studio has a very easy way to, close caption your videos that you use. So I think that this is, the recording your media, sometimes it's those impromptu things you want to quickly do, which is fine. But again, if it's anything that you're going to want to reuse in a class or anything like that, I would take the time again to get that, use the Canvas Studio and use that feature. But that's just, again, my own preference. I don't know how
Treva,
you guys work with that. Yeah.
Treva, does scroll back up to where you were. Scroll back. There you go. Okay. Media, upload, record media. Does it record in Canvas Studio?
No. This is Canvas has its own media recorder, and it was the one, that it has that's built in. Okay. Canvas Studio is actually, I don't want to call this an external app, but it is a secondary feature that, yes, our college has purchased. We had purchased it. Now the chancellor is going to offer, they're providing it to all campuses for 2 years. So it's Canvas's product. It's a Canvas Studio. It's a product that, outside of Canvas. So this media recorder is the one that's housed within the Canvas product that anybody and everybody who has Canvas can use. The kind of enhanced or, that type of a thing is the Canvas Studio product.
All of my introductions to every week was recorded in Canvas Studio.
Okay.
Can I upload my Canvas Studio into this media format?
Actually, you could, but there's really no need to, Solange. What you would do is, because we have that Canvas Studio, I want to say enhancement because I really like it. It's very easy to integrate. You would just I'll show you the button. You'll just continue to use Canvas Studio. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not sure how many of you are do you regularly use the media recorder in Canvas? Nope.
I rarely use it.
I've never used it.
I know, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Since we've gotten Canvas Studio, I don't really even mess with this anymore. I just feel like, wow, I feel like I've got more options and features with the other with the Canvas Studio. So
the only place I could see, and again, your accessibility concern is a good one, is I experimented in the past with multimedia grading comments for students.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a quicker way to do that than to record it in Canvas and then Canvas Studio and then put the link. But your accessibility concern is a good one. So I feel like, I don't know. And students didn't really like the audio comments on grades. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. So, this right here. So when you do this, if you could, because now so Canvas Studio, you can upload YouTubes and you can upload other media into it. So this right here, so you could upload, if you already had something, built out or you had a media file that you wanted on your computer. Again, this is also the new enhancement, is that you could, if you have another window open on your computer, you can just drag and drop the files into your this editing window now, which you used to have to go and click an upload button, go find the file on your system and then bring it in here. But you can just drag and drop things in. The other one is the record. Now, this is going to then show you the other option that some instructors may really utilize this is when Scott mentioned maybe when he was doing the audit, the voice, more of a voice, right, Scott, of your feedback?
Yeah, more like an audio version.
Yeah. So it allows you to just do your mic, or if you want to include your webcam. So if you're, let's say maybe you are just some of our language instructors, not some, I do know that they use this quite extensively in their classes because they just do a lot of the the audio recording of the languages. However, I'm looking at this going, American Sign Language now is not, they may be using it with the webcam, so that the students can then demonstrate their sign language skills, or they're using the webcam, and even Spanish, I would think also to see the person who's speaking the language. I mean, we're always worried about, I mean, if people are, is the person signed up for the class the person that's producing the work for the class? So that could be a reason that some faculty choose to use that. So there's just other pedagogical reasons or, course requirements where you would, want to use certain, tools. So I'm going to close this. Sorry. So again, I keep going back and forth of like, do I use the menu options more or do I use the buttons? This is the thing I always do when I teach. I teach Microsoft Office, and I'm always like, oh gosh, the menus or the buttons. Again, the menus are totally comprehensive, and they're going to have everything listed, kind of in that, in that sequential order, what falls under insert. But you have to know, what does insert mean? Like, what am I trying to do? So that's always the kind of the flip side to that. But like this is, I think, also nice is that so here's where you can insert links. So if again, Mary, when you said what about the course links? So when I clicked on insert the link and I used the course link, here's the old stuff that used to be on the right hand side. Remember, you could do course navigation link that takes them to just the assignments if that's what I wanted to do. I could then, is there a certain page that I wanted to link? And this, again, it's going to search for any pages that are located, in this class, any pages that I have, so I could, I could put those in. And so that works the same.
Does it automatically, I mean, it seems
preview?
like it automatically inserts text for you. Can you change that text to
Yes.
say something else?
Yeah. I could go here. I could, whoops, sorry. I could do, here, sorry. You could what it does is it takes the name of the particular item and puts it in there, but you can always edit that. So
Okay.
like when I use things that are, different, and what I did like about this new feature, which I don't know if anybody pays attention to this, but when the item that you were linking before, when it was a page, or I'm sorry, oh, okay, these are just the stuff that's inside my class already. My assignments, my quizzes. We're going to talk about like when you want to insert a document. Because a lot of times I will change the name of this or I'll add some text to it, because I want the link to be complete. So yes, you can edit that. I'm sorry I kind of jumped out.
And then is there, say you realize that you inserted the wrong, because what I do is I type out all my text, and then what I would do is I would highlight the text and link it to the appropriate locations.
Mm-hmm.
But if I realize that maybe I provided the wrong link by accident, there was in the old rich content editor, there was a really easy way to like highlight text and unlink it. Is there a way to do that?
So this right here, that's this right here, and remove link. So see, so you would highlight it, and this link button here, I would just use a link button. I think that's going to be the easier one to do with that. So I kind of interchangeably use because then you could go to format and you could go that longer route. But at that point, if you know that your link you need to remove it, then you can remove the link here. You can edit the link here, is a quick way to do that. And to be totally transparent with everybody, I started to search and I haven't been able to find it, but I like to do a lot of auto previews with my document stuff. I think this is because I'm in a class page. I got distracted getting ready for this about the auto preview. Like when I put a PowerPoint document, I think it's going to be when I go into documents. So let me not say that I don't know how to do it, because I can usually, I'll figure it out. So yeah, this is the easiest way to just remove the link. So it'll still have the text. It'll still have the text here. And so again, at that point, you may say, okay, I want to just use, the buttons. If you're a person that just, like you said, if you've been used to using this, if you just think of that link of, that kind of thing, it could be your course links, again, is going to open this back up. That's the same thing as when I went to insert link. I get back to that same editing features, or whether they're calling this a tray or a drawer or something. I've seen this referred to a couple of different ways. The nice thing about this though is that, look, you can search for stuff now. You know, some of you, like, I don't know if you're like me, but there's some classes that I have a lot of pages in. Yes, it's alphabetical and I can sit there and scroll, but I could just, you know, if I didn't have this here, and I have, I could search for this, yeah. So when I was in, I know it's a page, but I know it says the word test. I can quickly just jump down to it. I don't need to, you know, scroll all the way down to Z. You know, I don't know. Like I said, it's those little things that kind of seem to take a lot of our time. And I just looked at the time. We're getting it's already 40 after. Okay, so the insert, again, the media. Here's that document upload. But again, I don't, like I said, I always, when I'm first training, I'm just like, it really means, I think if you're more of a visual person, you're probably a buttons person. If you're, you know, like I said, you like to see that complete thing here. But the document upload, then you can upload your document. Of course, does the document already, is it already located in the course? Or again, the user documents if you put things in your another file area. So if I needed to upload, again, I can just drag and drop files. If I didn't have two, you know, browsers, you know, two things open right now, you can just click on that and you can go to your, you know, go to your actual computer and find something that you wanted to bring in. Probably, oh, I'm in images. Sorry, this should have, so then I could bring this one in. Why didn't it come in? Oh, I didn't have it there. Oh, I had that highlighted, so it just linked to that as I brought it in. So if I say I have course documents, here was this document. It's the same thing that, you know, you used to, if you then just click on it, it'll automatically insert. So this is where you can edit also the name of this, Mary, you asked. Like a lot of times when you have links in, really it is best practice to take off the file type, because if someone's having a screen reader, just to add that extra verbiage on there, their screen readers is reading that. And so just, again, it's a little bit cumbersome on the student's end. But again, I could just, you know, merging sections, I could go ahead and edit this if I needed to, you know, you just highlight it. I could just, you know, I can do any type of editing to that actual one. So this is where, like, here's where I said my disclaimer of what I don't, is that okay, oh, link options. Oh, okay, I knew it was something easy. So this right here, see where it says, I'm hoping it's under here. Oh, good. I just figures this out as I was kind of finally showing everybody. So here's where I've linked to a document in my, you know, a document that I brought in. And remember how you used to have to go to I don't know if anybody used this, but you go to the chain, you know, the little chain, you click on it to edit the link. And there was two little boxes down underneath it. And the second one down was to launch automatic preview or something like that, I think it was called. So that's the one where you go here, the link option is to automatically open an inline preview. Or maybe you hadn't used that and you were wondering how to do it. This is how you do it. And let me save that and so you can see what that means. Oh. So this is what I just turned on when I did that link option. So some of you who like to, you know, have if you bring in a PDF, if you bring in a Word document, if you bring in PowerPoint, and you like the students to have a preview of what the document looks like without having to, you know, if you don't set that link preview, then they'll see the link here and they can click on it. And what it's going to do, it's going to launch, you know, actually this takes them to the document. They can download this. It would have to, you know, launch Microsoft Word. So if you're worried that your students don't have Microsoft Word and, those types of things. Having that preview can be helpful. If your PowerPoint, of course, if you're using anything like where you liked that it was kind of maybe more of a PowerPoint show where it displays things differently, and you needed the animation, then of course you'd want the students to need to launch PowerPoint. But for the purpose of this, I usually always do that preview. I like it. I like that students can just quickly see my PDF document without having to click and open and do that kind of a thing. But again, it's just a way if you like to prefer, how you like to, your preferences. Okay, let me just set up this page again so I could use some of the other tools. Okay, so right now, like I said, when you're in the content editor, the rich content editor, you don't know that this is going to auto preview. But again, I didn't realize it was doing this. I didn't even see it. But the link options, and that's how I got that. Oh, here's the button now for Canvas Studio. So if you go you just need to click on that to go ahead and select any of your anything that you've created with Canvas Studio. It's probably going to take minutes to launch because I have quite a few of my my library. But here's one that I did for my class. And again, if you don't need comments on a certain video you're bringing in, I always turn that off. You can have students download your videos. I don't know if you are aware of that. I normally don't do that. I just would rather them come to my class, and I don't need to download my welcome video for each week. But then when you go ahead and you find that item, you just click on embed, and then it's going to automatically embed that Canvas Studio video right onto the page, or in a discussion, or on a quiz, or any of those things, anywhere that you have the rich content editor. So
will it import closed captioning with it?
Yeah, well, because you have to have, like, this right here was a quick announcement that I did. I know currently that I don't have any students that are that are in need of an accommodation for that. And this was, like I said, it's definitely a reference to this class. I'm not going to use this welcome again because it talked about this was a late start class. It referred to Martin Luther King Jr. holiday yesterday, so I didn't close caption it. But when you use this Canvas Studio and you create the caption to the video, the student would see that CC symbol here on the display, and they could click on it, and then they could toggle that on or off. But this one was not, because like I said, it's a one-time use, and my students, I have no students that are needing that accommodation right now. Does that make sense? Then again, here's what's nice about so you can go in and you can insert an image this way. This is the upload embed image. So it kind of does the same thing, except it is going to allow you to do a little bit of editing, or to the image. So if any of you used the old, this used to be in the previous rich content editor. It looked like a little, kind of a little picture of an image, and it would take you in where you could upload. Oh my gosh, why it started with a P? Why can I just went totally blank on the name. For free images that don't have any type of copyright. Oh my goodness, does anyone remember the name of it? Was it Pexels? But this one now, there's Unsplash. This is a new, it's a new, for a Creative Commons. This is the new images that are available with Canvas. They've partnered with Unsplash. And so you can search for anything for this. So again, I would then just click on this item. So what you can see here, though, look, you can crop images now right from within. So you don't have to go out to any type of other, software that does that, even Paint or something like that. You don't need to do that anymore. You can change the size. You can live preview allows it'll show you exactly what it's going to look like. So if I was to crop this, to I could crop the image. If you would just need to, use these tools. I could crop that image too, so that it's just that right now. So then I could go ahead and change the, obviously so that live view is showing me exactly what's happening with here's my image now. Here's where you want to go ahead and, your alt, your alt tag, which is, it needs to have that meaning. Or you can go ahead and, I thought up here did the alt tag. I'm going to do this. Upload and embed. And so now it's going to take that image, and it came in exactly how I had cropped it. So that's nice, because sometimes I'll do screenshots of things and I forget to crop off like the extra white space or something that I don't need. Then the image comes in and it looks, and then when I try to put text right next to it, it looks wonky because there's a whole bunch of white space that's part of the image. Well, you can fix that right now, right here. So I think this is, super fun. But again,
You said it was easier. It's easier to move images around on the page now. Like you can
right.
center it.
Here, let me get some text. It should be drag and drop. Let me make sure.
I mean, usually I just center my images because I feel like if people are looking at these pages on their phone and they're scrolling down, I don't know, a centered image will look nicer.
It's interesting because that there's some different, I mean, it is a kind of a, kind of a design of how you like to do things and wrap things. Like you said, if you like it, you think it looks better, and you don't have text you need from the right or left, then that's fine. But if I'm where I want to, I could go ahead here. Again, if you go ahead, you can use your text. These are kind of text formatting here where, you can use an image and you could even use that to move it that way if you want to. But that's kind of just like how you like to design your stuff. So even just now, I quickly moved the image though. I just grabbed it and I'm able to, so here's my video and moving stuff around. Whoops, let me do this. Oh, here we go. Why don't I demonstrate the full screen, Treva? So did you see I just went to full screen, and now I didn't have to worry about expanding my, whoops. Here, I'll do that. So this right here, I know some of you probably do this where you create this bigger area and you're trying to edit from within here. And it can get, if you've got a lot of stuff, it can kind of get a little bit, it's like, didn't do it enough. If you just go into full screen, then you're going to be seeing, where this is, what that's going to look like. And then I could edit and, do some stuff with it. But let me go back. Then, here's the clearing your formatting. So if you highlighted something, or if you had something with bold and, that kind of thing, and you came, like I said, it came in with a lot of editing or formatting that was already done. You can just select everything and you can actually clear that editing, any formatting that you've done to a page, and then go back. The tables features, basically, it's the same, when you create tables. Just be really careful when you are using tables in your classes. And when you're creating content, some people used to always use tables because it made things look nice and neat in columns and rows. But remember, a screen reader is going to say table, and it's going to try to make sense of why is this stuff presented in a table. So it's really important to kind of think about your tables and why you're using them. And if, you should identify that there's like I use a table for my, quarterly schedule of my, my weeks. Well, I'd want to create a table, but I'd want to identify the first row is the header row that says it's the, week topic assignments, that top row is meaningful to what the student is going to, encounter below that. It has that meaning to it. Equation. And then finally, the new kind of just quick other button here that I'm going to be done. We're at 56, so I'm going good. Here's just that quick embed. So if you have any embed code, like if you go to YouTube and you copy the embed code, you can quickly even just come in and put that embed code right here. So if you like to embed certain things and place things using embed code, if you're a person that, like I said, you feel comfortable with that, then you can simply just use that little cloud now. The other item that, like I said, we want to get used to using, and we even have a more comprehensive You Do It tool for checking accessibility. But this is kind of one way to quickly check your pages for accessibility. And so at this point, because it's saying that there's no accessibility issues, because I did put an alt tag to this, if I didn't have an alt tag on my image, it would have given me a little quick message. And at some point, we could maybe have a session. We probably should we get it, Kelly and different people from the DRC, and maybe some of us can do a session just on accessibility. We know we've talked about that quite a bit in the requirements from the students having, full access to your course content is super important. Here's the word count. Again, if you're a shortcut, this is the shortcut keys. That's my page. But like I said, I think it's just going to really need people, utilizing, the buttons, utilizing the, if you like to use menus. Oh, I'm sorry. The last thing I did not cover really quickly is by using the menu. Okay, so here we've got this. You've got some other, where you can subscript and superscript. You can bold, but if you do use the format menu, you're going to see that there's strike through. So that's nice. If you change something in your class and you want students really to see what maybe the update happened, you can, the formulas. So again, headings, you can do some other blocks of where you do a block quote now. So it automatically moves the text over for you. So you're not having to use the tab or do anything with that. Now look at the fonts. We finally have more fonts available. Some of you may have been frustrated with Canvas in the past because, you had your now it's not all of them, but these are the ones that are most accessible for screen readers and for people with visual, issues. Your font sizes, aligning, the text colors. So I believe they did fix, it was quite interesting that the old red that used to be available in Canvas was not actually the correct red hex code for for students with visual impairment. So they have fixed that. Your background coloring. So this is why, some of those things, when you check out the menus, is there anything up here that you don't find that you have just readily available to you in the, by using the toolbar? And that was one area I definitely found. And the other good one is this, insert. No, darn it. Oh, there we go. Insert. Here's the horizontal line now. So some of you, you might have had to go into the HTML and put a caret HR / caret to put just a line to help separate and chunk your material on the page. Now you can just use the insert horizontal line. So at least now you didn't have to know any type of HTML code, just simply to get that little line in there. That's a new. So hopefully you've seen some bells and whistles, or you've seen some new things that you like. And Scott and I are obviously available. The two of us will become more and more comfortable with. This is my first presentation using the rich content editor, so you can see it can use improvement. But if you have a question and I don't know the answer right away, I always I'll figure it out. My goodness, it'll keep me up at night, but I'll figure it out.
Do we have time to quickly go over the plagiarism checker tool? Because that was the main reason I came today.
Oh, okay. Scott, were you going to show just the turn it in?
Yeah, I
Or-
could show.
Yeah. Let me stop sharing.
Okay, let me go to, let me just find it here. I think I have my Canvas site loaded, so let me load that up.
I'm just hoping that it can do the same things that Verisite can do, because I used to use it on my students' first drafts and their final drafts.
Mhm.
So I just want it, so, they're submitting documents that are kind of similar to each other. Obviously, they're making revisions between the first draft and the final draft. So I don't want
Oh, right.
I don't want the plagiarism tool on the final draft to pick up material from their first draft.
Right.
Right. Yeah, so the new tool, and I know that they're changing. So of course you do this under, when you add an assignment, you see now there's a tab for plagiarism review. So that's a bit new. You would click on turn it in as the option. And I believe this is where those options come up. So you can exclude sources from bibliography, from quotes. The submission indexing is interesting because from what I understand from this, this is creating this database so that if someone from your class submits something and then they take a class with Michael, even though maybe that hasn't been taken from the internet, it's sort of checking within the college to make sure. And then you can choose whether or not you want the similarity reports to be generated immediately or immediately on the due date. And there's an issue here about some instructors want students, when you go under show report, some instructors want their students to see this because it's like a learning tool. Others feel like, nope, you need to know what plagiarism is. And so I will never display it, or I will do it after the due date and so forth. So based on what you see here, Mary, do you think that would do what you're trying to accomplish? Because you're worried that it's going to discover that a student in draft 1 plagiarized when they get to their draft 2 because it's their own work, or?
Yeah, I'm wondering how the tool is going to work when students submit, when I use it on multiple drafts for the same assignment. Like Verisite was okay with that. Like I don't want it to like highlight most of their final draft as plagiarized because their first draft is already in the system.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to use the plagiarism checker tool on both drafts, obviously, because students can plagiarize in both drafts if they want to, so.
I don't know, Treva.
I mean, this is okay. So one thing. So Verisite. Verisite. It's interesting because I've been involved with this online education initiative. Verisite came in as the kind of the competitor to Turnitin.com. Like a less expensive. So and it was a really young company. They were trying to get get into the market. So actually, we adopted Verisite, the chancellor's office through the OEI initiative. We selected Verisite. Well, of course, Turnitin, the big players on the block, purchased Verisite. And so Verisite has now become, and they're still just calling it Turnitin, but it's called it's just one of their sim check. It's a little bit, they're called, they want, I don't know what for the legacy, I'm not sure what they wanted to do within the company, but so it is now, they took that Verisite product and brought it in. And so I'm just curious that some of those functionality, did we just kind of maybe Google this, is it should, okay, how to,
I mean, one way you could check it, because I don't know the answer, is you could create a fake assignment and then you could just take a paragraph of something you've written, submit that, and then and change a few words, submit that again, and see if it flags that first version, if that makes sense.
yeah.
I would hope it didn't do that because that would be annoying, yeah.
Well, and I just think since Verisite, you were able to do that in the past, and this is SimCheck is that product, that it should be there, just maybe listed, or like Scott said, it maybe check it out. But it just kind of like the new, rich content editor. It's just kind of in a different place, or you click on a different button. What about when it says learn more about the Turnitin settings? Is
Yeah,
that where you
it's
just went,
not
Scott?
super
No?
long. It just says, here's how you set it up. And it just shows you the app is set up, and it doesn't really say anything about diving into the settings.
Okay,
So
I
that's
can
not that
just
helpful.
I can do what you recommended, Scott, where I submit something under student view,
Mhm.
and then I submit it again and see how the plagiarism checker.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to dig in more. I'll make a note of that, and I'll mess with it as well, because that is a good. I mean, for English classes, you're doing
Yeah, it
multiple.
seems
Yeah.
like
That would be
that's a
great.
no-brainer. But
It's very important for English classes, so I'm sure it's already part of the tool, and it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah,
there
it's
was a
cool to
way
see.
that you were indexing submissions so that, you could make sure that a student from one quarter didn't turn in somebody's work from the quarter before. Could you just turn that option off, the index the
Yeah.
submission for the drafts, so that it didn't index it? It didn't
That's
put
what I
it
was
in the
wondering,
database.
That's what I was
And
wondering.
but have it check in the final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Mhm.
can do that.
Let me just see if. Oh, here we go. Oh, let me share again. Sorry. That's a really good idea. This is submission indexing options. When a submission is indexed by Turnitin, it's made available for comparison in future similarity reports. Who can match against a paper is based on your Turnitin license. One, on assignment creation, you could decide a paper submitted to your course will be indexed in this way, or if you just want them, or if you just like them to receive a similarity report. So I think Amber's right. I think that might be one way to turn that off. And then would you even need to turn that on at the very end? I mean, I guess you could, because again, I wonder if you don't have that on, if someone takes a different class and they plagiarize using the paper they wrote for your class. But that, I think what Amber's suggesting might work.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I would just turn it on for the final drafts.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm reading that correctly, I think that's correct. And see under here, Treva, they call it sim check,
yeah,
but
I
then
know.
it's called sim check, but then it takes to turn it in. I'm still confused when they're gonna change the name, but I don't know. Sim check, turn it in, originality, turn it in similarity. So, but I think that might solve that issue. It sounds like, yeah.
I was looking at some of the stuff that's like you said, Scott, at the Turnitin site.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'll dig some more on that just to make sure, and then I can get back to you and see if that works. But I think if you turn that off, I mean, what I might do is just run a test, and then like Amber was saying, turn it off and then turn it on and see if it does detect. And the other thing too is that if you can quickly see as an instructor, if you did have that on and the student is self-plagiarizing, then you could kind of quickly see that, versus if they're plagiarizing from some other student in a previous course or from the internet, I would think.
Right. I just don't want students to get freaked out if
That's true, yeah.
Your plagiarism score is 100 or like 90%
Yeah.
on their final drafts because they only changed like 10% or
Yeah.
whatever.
Right, exactly. They're not gonna.
And you could also turn that off. Again, I always had the option turned off. My preference is like, I don't want you to use Turnitin to figure out how to evade plagiarism when you want to plagiarize. So I just had it available as me, the instructor. But some instructors want that as a learning tool, so I could see that value too as well. But that would be another way to eliminate that like fear if students would happen to see they plagiarized. And that happens, of course, with quotes as well, and you can exclude quotes. But yeah, I don't know. There are a lot of ways to play around with it. And I think as it shifted into a new version, it'd be important for us to test it and see what works and what doesn't work. So maybe we could do a little more on that and do another session on plagiarism.
All right. Thanks for the suggestions. I'll do some research on my end and report back to you.
Yeah, let's both check it out, because I could definitely see for English classes that would be a big deal to avoid that issue. And then on some of the other tools, because I know people have to go like with, well, we covered the new student view, the new immersive reader. If you just click on any page, it'll read, text to speech. So that's pretty handy to have. And then what was the last one I had on there? I can't remember now. I had one other.
PlayPosit.
Oh, PlayPosit, and that was just an announcement. So for PlayPosit, getting a lot of questions, so I'll try to send out updates. But as Treva was talking about with the new rich content editor, even though we train on this stuff, we have to learn it. So I'm still not quite with PlayPosit at the comfort level. I feel like it's kind of a bit involved. So I'm hoping as more of us learn it over time, we can do some additional workshops and trainings on it, because it's a really neat tool, but I think it does require a little more work and investigation than some of the previous tools like Canvas Studio, which is pretty easy to figure out. So
what does PlayPosit do? What is it?
It's basically a way to turn your videos to make them more like immersive and interactive. So you can do some of this in Canvas Studio, but it's more full featured. You can set up quizzes on your videos. You can do real-time broadcasts. So you could do like polling and real-time interaction with your videos, with your lectures. It's basically a way to make all your content, like your multimedia content, more interactive with your students. You can dive down into data usage of your students. You can look at what they're interacting with. It's very cool. So I will send out more. Yesterday in my email update, I sent out the specific, and I know many of you were there, the LTCC trainings they did. And then there's more trainings coming up, and we'll do our own trainings as well. So it's available right now. If you go into assignment or pages external tool, look under PlayPosit, you can add it to your class and mess around with it. It's pretty neat. It creates what's called a bulb, and a bulb is like this interactive unit that allows you to create more interaction with your students in assignments and pages and so forth.
Mary, you are correct. I see in the
Yeah.
chat that the Canvas Studio does have the quizzes. But what's really cool about the PlayPosit is that you can have your video, and from that you can just create your discussion that relates to a video right there. And then the discussion's happening like to the left, or you could even move it around, right, Scott?
Yeah.
I'll just say the examples on the left where the students are having their discussion about the media that you've included. So if it's a graded discussion, then it's also connected to your gradebook and that type of thing. So the interaction with the gradebook is pretty cool with some of the other things it does. But and just how it kind of interfaces with the types of how you set up the questions and different things. The Canvas Studio will do quizzing, but I'm thinking once people kind of start using the PlayPosit, that you'll see that, wow, so what you can do with it though is that you can create your video if you want to in the your material in Canvas Studio because you're comfortable with it, and then you can simply just download the actual, or even link. You can use a link. And you can then place that into your PlayPosit as the source, your media, and then you can ask questions, create a discussion about it. You can just do a lot of different things. It's that idea that, all of us, we kind of wonder what our students are doing with our videos. Canvas Studio has been better because you could see the views and how long they viewed. And you can see that sometimes, sadly, that the students were watching for a minute and then they shut you off. So like, what am I doing wrong? Or how am I not engaging them with this? And so that's the kind of exciting thing I think with PlayPosit is that you can then, again, you can create that interaction and that engagement and just really use it as a teaching tool.
It's way more advanced. It's kind of like Canvas Studio on steroids. It's like just more options. So if you're doing that, doing a lot of video quizzes, it would be worth learning PlayPosit because you just get more functionality with it. It's just more options there, and some of the live options are really cool too. So you could use it during a live Zoom session, which is really neat.
Right, kind of replaces the old idea when classes had clickers and different things where they would be answering things, just making sure your students are engaged. And then the other fun thing is you can share your bulbs with other faculty. So Mary, if you create a really cool bulb for a certain, the English 101 class that someone else wants to use, the video, and the questions that you can easily collaborate and share. And so there's a lot of like I said, Scott's probably got he's waded in farther than I have. I was just at the edge of
not really.
exploration.
It's one of those where, and I'm good with technology, but it's one of those where I'm like, I need just more time with it because it's just so full featured. Whereas Canvas Studio, I feel like you can spend an hour and you get the basics of it. You're like, yep, it does.
That's what I feel too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to think if there's any other, and I've been making some notes. So like Treva said, with the accessibility, we can do a session on that. I did get a question from a new instructor today about images in Canvas. So I want to check back over the new image uploader because she had some questions about should I have my own images on the computer, or should I look for stock images? So maybe there's a little more we could talk about with that as well. And then it seems to me the plagiarism, we just should look into that and maybe have a session on just talking about plagiarism and how to use the new tool, because it has changed. And with Mary's concern about drafts, I think we could also have that conversation, how that might work. So anything else that were like Canvas questions or things that we haven't covered with new features? I personally think the new editor looks great. It's like anything, it's like muscle memory. When the software changes, you just have to go through it and eventually get used to it. But I like it. It's cleaner, and I think it chunks like similar functions in one place. You know, it's not as spread out as the old one. So
Right. It kind of broke it down, like kind of into the text formatting, then the text styles, like text lists, how things are kind of located on the page. Then it kind of put all the links and images and media stuff into kind of one grouping, and then tables, math, and the app. I mean, so it does, like I said, it once you kind of start using it, it hopefully becomes logical. It's kind of the idea when, like I said, Microsoft a long time ago moved to that ribbon and all these things. People were like, well, where's stuff at? It used to be right here. And why'd they put it here? And it's just hopefully enhanced, not, but it can be unsettling when you go and look. And like I said, it doesn't look like things are there. And again, you're up late trying to get your class ready for the next morning. And you're just like, what happened? Where's my content on the side? So hopefully we'll, everybody will start feeling a little more easy with it. Or
I think it'll be nice to not have that right hand menu there all the time when you're working on a smaller screen.
yeah.
Right.
So when you're doing something on a laptop rather than having multiple screens or a desktop screen, I think it'll be nice to have that extra space.
Right.
And not be so squinty-eyed right up in your laptop screen trying to figure that out. So I like that
because
it's easy to pop it up.
Yeah. And then even if you like to work in the full screen, it takes away the left hand, like you said, when you're working on a smaller screen like that thing is so annoying when you're trying to scroll down, scroll to the left or the right. I mean, it just ends up taking more time and just becomes just like we're like, oh my gosh, how much time do I have to spend doing this? So
especially when you get that email that there's a broken link or something from a student and, they're trying to start and do their assignment. You're like, I'm trying to do this really quick from, a B or C location on a smaller screen.
Oh, yeah. On your phone.
And you're already frantic because you made a mistake. And you're like, oh, shoot.
Hey, we've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
Been there, done that.
I know we've all been there. That's the way I can say it. Yeah, but I think it'll be really nice to have that. And it does look like the preview is easier to add in, because I think before you had to like save it and then go back in and check your link in order to add that preview in. And I don't know, I always struggled with it. So I think I think they've streamlined that a little.
Yeah.
It does seem like when you import a course from Canvas, that's something like a lot of the links maybe end up not working.
Right.
And that's the thing that you have to go through and check.
Yeah. And that's always, it's important to like the last thing I tell people to do, hey, before you, well, of course, preview your class as a student, but run that, the settings, validate links to make sure you don't have them. This new editor is supposed to alleviate some of those issues. The other thing is like, really using the actual buttons in the linking from within those buttons. When you just copy an image and paste it into your course site, like off the internet, that's when the next quarter, when you try to copy your class over, it is looking then to the only reference it has is to the old class, not because that's where the image was located. So if you use the actual, you put the link in the course and you do it the right way or the complete way, it's going to help a lot with the frustration now when you bring that class into a new quarter. That's definitely what when I started reading that kind of stuff, I was like, yeah, you know, because that is so frustrating, and you think it's fine, and then the poor students are like, I'm getting an error message, and you click on it, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
So
Mhm.
settings, validate links. Is that what you have to do?
if you need to validate your links, when you go into settings, and then on the right hand side, I think it's the very last one, it says validate course links or something like that. Let me make sure. And then you can run that, and what's nice is when it finds links that are broken, and sometimes it will give you kind of a mislabel that something's broken when it's not. Hopefully that's going to be better also with this new interface. But yeah, the last one says validate links in the content. You click it, it'll give you a report, and then you can, yeah, Scott's doing it right now, so that you can then, and then it'll give the actual item, and then you can click on it, and then you can go to it, and you'll see that sometimes the link, and if you're curious, like, why is this link broken? It doesn't look broken to me. Sometimes, like, I'll turn on the HTML, and reveal that, and I'll see that it'll say, HTTP like toggle, and then it'll say the course number, 200 or whatever, and I'm looking at my course, and it's it's one of those weird situations where the image I hadn't maybe put it in correctly. So there's sometimes you can problem solve it, and it usually takes a minute. Scott's is doing that, where it's trying to run that that validator, but that should become, I'm hoping, better as we move forward now, because of how the rich content editors putting stuff into the class and where you go to get it, and hopefully going to streamline that.
And this one's taking a ton of time
Yeah,
because this
I know.
particular class has, and this
Yeah.
is an old class that's not been updated. So because I have so many
It's your
links
Sam.
on
You
my,
got tons of stuff. You've done tons of training stuff and all that.
well, no, this one was a class, and so I have
Oh.
all these links of readings and videos, and so
But it's
you can
nice
see
'cause,
it can take a long time.
I mean, and nothing's foolproof, Mary. We know, right? I mean, I could check a link to a site yesterday, update it, go, yay! And then overnight they change their website or whatever, and then all of a sudden the students are like, I'm getting a 404 error. I'm doing this. I mean, nothing's 100% proof, 100 proof, but this at least you can say, okay, I did it once. Things were working on day one, and that's when I always tell the students, hey, that's when any broken links, they can change. Let me know, and then you're quickly responding. But it is one way, like I said, to check it out.
Okay, cool. Well, Treva, thanks for running through the rich content editor. I'll once the video is ready, I'll send that out.
Okay.
People will still have questions, and we can do more trainings. And thanks for everyone for attending today as we work through this new version of Canvas a little bit. So.
And I'll keep kind of adding some of those like reference pages and stuff on the user site, and then send out announcements that like I said, I'm just trying to, as I go and find cool stuff, I'm trying to add it to the list, and then Scott will be doing lots of stuff with his the teaching and learning page also.
We really appreciate all the efforts and the time you guys are putting into this. It really does make a difference.
Of course, our pleasure. Yeah.
Yes, that's the fun stuff.
Cool.
Making your
Okay.
lives easier, hopefully, and your students have better experience. Okay, bye,
All right.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.